why we lie even when we don't want to, okay? So picture this. Someone asks you, "How are you doing?" And you say, "Good, I'm fine." Even though your day was actually a mess, you didn't even think about it. It just came out. And that, right there, is a lie. A tiny one, sure, but a lie. Here's the crazy part. Most of us think we're honest people. We tell ourselves that. But science says something totally different. And it's kind of uncomfortable to hear. Studies have found that the average person lies somewhere between 1 and 2 times every single day. Some researchers put the number even higher when you count the small stuff, the stuff we don't even register as lying. So the question isn't really, do we lie? We already know the answer to that. The real question is why. Why does something we consider morally wrong just slip out of us so easily, so naturally, almost like breathing? And that's what we're getting into today. Not to make you feel bad about it, but because understanding this is actually kind of fascinating. It's built into us. It's wired into our brains, shaped by millions of years of evolution, and reinforced every single day by the society we live in. Let's start at the very beginning, with kids. If you've ever been around a toddler, you know they lie. Like, constantly. "I didn't eat the cookie," while there's chocolate literally smeared on their face. And here's the thing that blew my mind when I first learned it. Psychologists actually see this as a developmental milestone. A good sign, because lying requires something called theory of mind, which is basically the ability to understand that other people have thoughts and beliefs different from your own. A 2-year-old can't really lie well because they don't yet get that mom doesn't automatically know what they know. But by the time a kid is 3 or 4, that switch flips. They realize, wait, if I don't tell her, she won't find out, and boom, lying begins. Researchers have actually tested this in labs. They'll leave a kid alone in a room with a toy, tell them not to peek, then leave a hidden camera rolling. The vast majority of kids peek, and then, when asked if they looked, most of them lie straight to the researcher's face. The kids who lie earlier and more convincingly actually tend to score higher on cognitive tests. It sounds backwards, but lying is complex mental work. You have to track the truth, track the lie, and manage what the other person believes, all at the same time. So from an incredibly young age, our brains are already being trained for this skill. It's not some corruption of an innocent mind. It's a natural part of cognitive development. Now let's zoom out even further, past childhood, past humans even, and go into evolution. Deception is everywhere in nature. It's not just a human thing at all. Think about the octopus that changes color to blend into rocks, or a possum playing dead, or birds that fake a broken wing to lure predators away from their nest. Nature is full of trickery, and it works because it helps things survive. For humans, lying likely evolved for very similar reasons. Early humans lived in small, tight-knit groups where reputation, social standing, and resources were everything. If you could bend the truth to make yourself look better, avoid punishment, or gain an advantage, you had a leg up. Imagine early hunter-gatherer life. If you found a good source of food, admitting the exact location to everyone might mean sharing everything and getting less for yourself. But if you lied about where you found it, or exaggerated how little there was, you could benefit personally while still looking cooperative. Multiply that kind of small, self-serving deception across thousands of generations, and you get brains that are naturally inclined toward it. It's not that we're bad. It's that the humans who were a little more strategic with the truth tended to survive and pass on their genes a little more successfully. There's actually a fascinating theory in evolutionary psychology called the Machiavellian intelligence hypothesis. It argues that a big part of why human brains got so big and complex in the first place is because of social maneuvering, outsmarting rivals, forming alliances, managing reputations. And yes, deception was a core part of that mental arms race. So when you tell a little white lie today, you're kind of running ancient software that got installed over millions of years because it worked. Now let's bring it back to the brain itself, because neuroscience has some wild stuff to say here too. There's a well-known study from University College London where researchers put people in brain scanners and had them lie repeatedly. What they found was that the amygdala, which is basically the brain's alarm system for fear and emotional response, lights up the first time someone tells a lie. That's the guilt. That's the little jolt of, oh no, I shouldn't be doing this. But here's the unsettling part. Every time the person lied again, that response got weaker. The brain adapted. It got desensitized. Lying became easier and easier the more it happened, almost exactly like how your brain gets used to any repeated behavior. Researchers called this effect emotional adaptation. And the scary implication is that small lies can act like a slippery slope. You start with something tiny, a little exaggeration, a small omission, and your brain literally recalibrates what feels okay. Then bigger lies don't feel as heavy anymore. This is sometimes referred to as the slippery slope of dishonesty, and it's been replicated in multiple studies. It suggests that dishonesty isn't just a moral choice we make fresh every time. It's a pattern that physically reshapes how our brain responds emotionally to deception. So on one hand, we have this fear response trying to keep us honest. But on the other hand, we have a brain that's really good at quieting that alarm down when it's convenient. It's basically a built-in negotiation happening inside your skull every single day. Let's talk about the different kinds of lies, because not all lies are created equal. There are pro-social lies, the ones meant to help someone else or smooth over a social interaction. I love the gift. Thank you so much. Your presentation was great. These are lies technically, but most people don't even feel bad about them because the intention is kindness, not harm. Then there are self-serving lies, the ones meant to protect or benefit ourselves. I'm stuck in traffic when you haven't even left the house yet. I already sent that email when you totally forgot. And then there are the bigger, more damaging lies, the ones that hurt other people directly, that come from manipulation or serious dishonesty. Interestingly, studies show the vast majority of daily lies fall into that first category, the pro-social or socially convenient type. Researchers who track lying behavior found that most lies people tell are pretty low stakes and are actually meant to protect relationships or avoid unnecessary conflict. This is where it gets really interesting from a social science perspective. Some researchers argue that lying is actually one of the glues that holds society together. Total honesty all the time, every single thought said out loud, would actually be socially catastrophic. Imagine if everyone told you exactly what they thought of your outfit, your cooking, your parenting choices, your new haircut. All day, every day. Relationships would fall apart pretty fast. Little social lies act like lubricant. They keep interactions smooth. They protect feelings. They maintain group harmony. There's actually research on this called face work, a concept from sociology. It's the idea that we constantly manage our own image and other people's images in social interactions. And small lies are one of the main tools we use to do that. So in a weird, twisted way, some amount of lying might actually be necessary for a functioning, cooperative society. That doesn't mean big, harmful lies are okay, but the tiny social ones seem almost baked into how humans coexist peacefully. Now let's dig into something even deeper. Why do we lie even to ourselves? This one is wild, because self-deception might be even more universal than lying to others. Psychologists have long studied something called positive illusion. This is our tendency to see ourselves in a better light than reality actually supports. Most people rate themselves as more intelligent than average, more attractive than average, more skilled at driving than average. Mathematically, that can't be true for everyone, obviously. But almost everyone believes it about themselves. Why would our brains do this? Turns out, self-deception might actually serve a purpose. Researchers, including evolutionary biologist Robert Trivers, proposed a theory that we deceive ourselves in order to better deceive others. Think about it this way. If you truly believe your own lie, You're way more convincing when you tell it to someone else. Your body language matches, your tone matches. There's no nervous tell, because as far as your conscious mind is concerned, you're not even lying. This is sometimes called the theory of self-deception as a tool for social deception. Basically, hiding the truth from your own conscious awareness makes you a better liar to everyone else, because you're not leaking any of the usual signals that come with dishonesty. It's kind of unsettling when you think about it. Some of the confidence we admire in people, some of that unshakable certainty, might actually be self-deception working exactly as evolution designed it to. Let's shift gears again and talk about social pressure, because this plays a massive role too. There's a famous series of experiments from the 1950s by psychologist Solomon Asch. He put people in a room with a group of actors and showed them a simple task, like comparing line lengths. The actors would all confidently give an obviously wrong answer, and then researchers would see what the actual test subject did. Astonishingly, about 75% of participants went along with the group's wrong answer at least once, even when their own eyes were telling them something completely different. This wasn't really about lying in the traditional sense. It was about conformity. But it shows something important. Humans have this powerful built-in drive to align with the group, even at the cost of the truth right in front of them. This same drive shows up constantly in daily life. We say we agree with something at work when we don't, just to avoid conflict. We laugh at jokes that aren't funny. We nod along in conversations when we're actually confused. It's not always a conscious, calculated lie. It's more like an automatic social reflex. Social pressure basically hijacks our honesty circuits, because fitting in, historically speaking, meant survival. Being cast out of the group in ancient times could literally mean death. So our brains prioritize social harmony, sometimes even over accuracy. Now, let's talk about something that might surprise you, which is the role of language itself. Some linguists and cognitive scientists argue that language evolved partially as a tool for both truth-telling and deception simultaneously. Once humans could use words to represent things that weren't physically present, they also gained the ability to represent things that weren't true at all. Before language, deception was mostly physical, hiding, disguising, faking injuries like that possum we mentioned earlier.